I've already got it assembled. This is the Claimer of Champions coming from Beastaria Miniatures, and it is friggin' cool. Hey, Chris. So the plan today for this is I want to do like a very Elden Ring kind of thing. So most of this is going to be brown and red leather, and then like a dirty steel for like his actual armor. But then all of these little plates that I've got up, I want those to kind of pop. So what I'm going to do is find my knife, which I usually use as a pointing thing, but whatever, I can't find it. I'll use the clippers. These pieces that are kind of hanging off, I want those to be done as like different heraldry. Like the idea is, what if this guy was striking down other knights, other families, whatever, and claiming their banners as his own. So I'm going to try and do each of these a little bit different. I've got a, on my Discord, I've got a kind of spreadsheet or like super page that has just a bunch of different medieval times heraldry. Yeah, we're going to use that. But just like I did last time, I'm going to start with our random marine of the day. So, random marine, we've done 2 of them so far. They both come out looking kind of questionable, I'll be honest. This was day 1 and this is day 2. And I still haven't gotten around to editing the videos. I'm sorry, guys. And the way it works is that I'm gonna spin a wheel for all the different colors that go into the random marine, and then I'm just gonna paint it based off of whatever I get. Day 1 was dark red, blue, and brown. Day 2 was dark orange, green, darker green, and teal. And yeah, I can't say that they were particularly good palettes, but you know, they're still a great way to warm up. So yeah, I'm gonna head over to the spinner. Wait, I'm gonna find my little notebook that I use to write down the palettes I'm gonna be using. There it is. So random marine number 3. I'm gonna pop over to the spinner and just find out what we get. Usually these take about half an hour, so I'm gonna try and keep them quick. Let me just pick up the window that I need. Yeah, that works fine. Cool. So first one, body color. Let's just see what we get. Oh, oh God. Okay. Purple metal. Crazy. Okay. Not what I expected at all. Honestly, I don't even know if I have a purple metal. I'll make one, but I don't know if I have one. I'm gonna have to change my airbrush because there's no way I'm putting the metal through my nice airbrush. It's just not happening. Okay, that was the body. The pads. Let's see. Copper. Okay, this is just going to be a metal marine. Weapon. Wait, no, sorry, trim. Which is the next one. Guys, this is going to be the weirdest looking miniature I think I've ever done. Okay, trim, dark yellow. Weapon. Pastel blue. Great. And let's see if we have a special on this one. The copper's just going to be the copper paint. With these like little random marines, I don't tend to go super deep into it. So it's just going to be flat copper. I think I even have the paint here. It's in need of a bit of mixing, but... Nope, not that. Yeah. I have an old copper from Metal and Alchemy, which is done by Scale 75 or Scale Paints. So I'll be using that. Okay, specials. Oh, thank God. It's normal. Great. Can you imagine if I'd done all of that and it also was like no airbrush? Just suffer. Alright, cool. Random Marine number 3. Purple metal body, copper pads, dark yellow trim, pastel blue gun, and no special. Super fun. Just nuts. As per usual, I'm going to start with airbrushing to get the base coat down. Here's our random marine of the day. He's going to be made into this insane thing. Yeah, first things first, I'm switching airbrushes. I don't need to make the Iwata suffer. I like it too much. So I'm going to put it all through Donkey. Because, yeah. Iwata doesn't deserve that. The plastic bits inside of metallic paints, they're like little flecks. Sometimes they're actually flecks of silver. But usually they're flecks of a plastic with something in it that makes it kind of shiny. And running that through the inside, piping or whatever of the airbrush is going to be not good for it. It requires some serious cleaning afterwards, and you run the risk of just clogging the whole thing. So I'm going to... Sorry. Donkey tends to be a little bit clogged because I usually use it for primer. Which is about as gnarly, if not worse, than metallics. Ugh, this poor thing. Okay. Got some cleaning. Looking like it's working good. Okay. Now then, let's figure out this metallic purple. I've got purple paint. Yeah. Let me see if I've got a good purple paint that I can use for this. Because I want it, I've got a good couple of, pink, pinks. Oh, here we go. Okay. Violet red. Oh, sorry, I'm still on the wheel. Thank you. So violet red. This is going to be how we're doing the purple metal. And I'm just going to mix it with... Nope. With some gunmetal from Army Painter. And that's just how we're gonna do it. I am hoping for the best. Yeah. Guys. Spray painting purple metal is not how I thought I was going to be starting the night. But you know what? Here we are. Oops. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. I'm actually going to adjust this microphone. Just so it's a little bit more out of the way of my hands. Alright. We got purple. We've got metal. Let's make purple metal. So here's how it's going to go. Just going to do 2 and 2. But this needs to be spiked. I haven't used this purple in a while. Hope it's not going to do anything weird. Okay. 2 doses of purple. Two doses of metal. Oh god. It's not the sort of thing that you usually do with an airbrush. I should stop complaining though. Yeah. It's looking metallic and purple. I may even need to thin it out more. Also, glove. Always wear a glove. Oh, hey Dan, glad you're here. And yeah, we're starting kind of wild. We're doing random marine, which is how I'm starting the streams these days. So we rolled up some colors for this Space Marine. Body's gonna be purple metal. Pads are gonna be copper. Trim's gonna be dark yellow. Weapon's gonna be pastel blue. And there's no special effects in this one. But honestly, the colors have me worried. So like, just bear with me. I'm sorry, everybody. Okay. It does spray. If anyone can think of like what purple metal gives you the thing, like reminds you of in terms of pop culture, let me know, because like the dark yellow one from last week, someone pointed out, oh, that's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I hadn't realized it in the moment, and totally missed an opportunity to just do a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle themed Space Marine. Alright, purple plus metal, purple metal. Insane. Absolutely insane. But here we are. Oh my god. Can you imagine doing a commission where someone's like, just do it in purple and metal, please? Part of what makes it so crazy is that like purple is not a particularly strong pigment. Pink is, purple's not. Purple tends to be kind of diluted down. So it ends up being like a tinted gray. And then the highlight of gray is white. So the metal kind of makes it look more gray. which is why I've been kind of fussing. It's like, it's just going to be shades of gray. But we'll see. Ooh, it is Hatemonger. Wait, is it Hatemonger? Is Hatemonger purple? I thought he was, Let me pull up a picture of Hatemonger. Because if it is, then this is just metal Hatemonger, which I can get behind. Hatemonger. Oh, but he's got a silver head. We're doing copper heads. Okay. That's all the airbrushing I need to do, because the rest of this is going to be done with brush. This can go away. One of my friends who watches the stream sent me a message the other day. And Anna, if you're out there, then first of all, love that you watch. But one of my friends who watches the stream was like, your music has become my working music. Like I think she went looking for what music I use, and has like just made all of her music like that. Okay, I had the copper. I showed it to you all. Where did I put it? Ah, there we go. Oops. These metallic paints, if you don't already have a vortex mixer, are real fun. Oh. Shoot. In a minute, I'm going to have to take a pause because I realize I don't have my laptop charger handy, so my computer's going to run out of battery in about... Well, actually, roughly when we're done the random marine, I think. Okay. Pads and helmet. Copper. Just making sure this is actually dry. I can't tell because it's all shiny. And it's even like building up in the recesses. God damn. Okay, hold on. I need to clean this up a little bit. Okay. The model is still quite wet. So it might be worthwhile for me to just like quickly run off and grab my charger while this dries. And you guys can just hang out and vibe for like 2 minutes. And I'll be back with the charger. I promise I'll be quick. I'm back. Charger required. Model slightly more dry. Ready to jump in with some copper colors. Oops. Hold on, I'm also going to adjust this camera. It is too low for my liking. Great. Much better. Alright. Now it's way higher than me, so I'm not actually going to hit it. Okay. Copper. Here we go. Is perhaps a little thick, which can happen sometimes with metallic paints because they're loaded up with, you know, little chips. Here's a section there where the paint hasn't quite dried yet. It's okay. Let's come into those sections that already have the sections that are trying to dry. Honestly, it looks kind of good. Like, I know I was complaining, but that's kind of growing on me. I don't know why I always do the left knee pad. I always feel like it needs a little bit more interest, and the knee pad just adds a little bit of that. Yeah, this section over here just needed to be a lot more thinned down. That paint was way too thick. Luckily, I can do something about it. pads done. The purple body done. What do we got left? I'm gonna do another coat of the copper. Just so that it's very solidly in there. Also, sometimes these metallic paints take multiple coats to like really have their shine. Although being base coated in the metallic purple has a huge advantage, which is everything's already kind of shiny. Oopsie daisies. You know, probably help the holder. The this thing probably be helpful. There we go. All right. Trim, dark yellow. Which is another word for kind of muddy brown. Yeah. Let's just get into it. I've got a yellow over here. It's a bit of a school bus yellow. Let's find out what happens when we mix black with it. Because that's what I'm going to do. And what's the weapon? Pastel blue. Oh my gosh. I'll get that out while I'm at it. Okay. Black. Black. It's gonna be weird. I don't know about wild, but definitely weird. Okay. This is the yellow. It's yellow from AK. It's about as yellow as you can possibly get. Yeah, the purple, copper, dark yellow, and pastel blue. It's giving like Magic School Bus. You know? In the weirdest ways. But I do recommend these kinds of challenges, you know, to anyone really. It's a great way to warm up, even if it's freaking weird. Oh god, that almost looks green. Nope, no, it's still yellow. Okay. No, that's green. Guess what, guys? Yellow and black looks green. Not quite green, but like, Chris, you know how earlier you were talking about the oxidized copper idea? It's kind of that. which is wild. Green, green, green. Like, I know it's supposed to be dark yellow, but like, I mixed it. I did the mix. I added black and yellow, and I got green. I keep on trying to tell myself, no, this is dark yellow. But it's not. It's just green. Yeah. Just green. For the fun of it, I'm gonna do the little box thing on top of his backpack. I don't know, I don't usually do that, but you know, I'm already here, and there's not that much to do with this green, really. It's also maybe an opportunity for me to like make it look yellow so that the model actually reads as yellow. But yellow is such a bright color and like such a weird pigment. Okay, let's see if we can make a lighter yellow to use as a highlight. That is almost too light. Oh, I forgot I gotta turn that off. Okay. A little bit weird. But it has a really interesting kind of 80s vibe. Like, you know what it's reminding me of? Fallout. Like OG Fallout. Old Fallout. From like, I don't know, 19... I'm dating myself here. I don't know. But like classic Fallout with like, you know, just weird coloring, you know? Just really weird coloring. I would love to come in here with actual yellow to make it like really pop, but here we are. And it 100% reads as green. I don't I don't know what else to say. All right, last color is the weapon, which is gonna be blue. I'm just gonna hit it with the pastel blue and then do a wash over it to give it some depth. But otherwise, yeah, that's that. And like I said, it takes about half an hour, and you've got a fully painted Space Marine with some radical colors. Ugh. It also gives me a chance to actually use some of the colors I don't get to use very often. Because, like, I can't tell you how many skin tones I have. Just a crazy amount of skin tones. I don't need them all. Well, I mean, I do, because I like all the, you know, if you look at the stuff I've painted recently, it's all skin tone. But... okay, now this is taking it into toy territory. Where, like, before it was plausible as a video game character, now it definitely reads as, like, a children's toy. Or, like, a sci-fi character holding a children's toy. Then again, I shouldn't complain too much, or I shouldn't say too much negative about it, because, like, you never know. Someone might look at this and be like, "Oh man, I love this. I want a whole army of this, complete with blue guns." And if this was a Eldar army, this color scheme would work. But it's not. It's not even an army, it's just me messing around. Absolutely nuts. Whoopsie daisies. Technique or process that I dread. Camo. I've got it in there as like an option, but camo. And it's the reason why is unless you're painting like something big and flat, like I don't know, a shoulder pad or like a big shield or whatever, big and flat. Unless you're painting that, camo takes away from the texture of whatever you're painting, and can make it quite difficult to manage. You know, the combination of readability, which is like a constant issue for us mini painters, that someone can pick up the miniature who's either not familiar with it, or who's your opponent if you're playing a game, that they can pick it up, look at it, and be like, yep, I know exactly what that is. Camo kind of takes away from that. It's a cool effect, but if I had to do the whole thing in camo, which I'm sure I'll have to do one day, I would be less than happy. You mean camo on dioramas, or what technique do I dread for dioramas? Because camo for dioramas definitely works. But again, uh, it comes down to like an issue of readability. Of like, if I have this tiny miniature with all these interfacing or interlacing textures. Also, all I did here is I added a little bit of dark blue. Technically not part of the palette, but it just helps make the thing look a little bit more Space Marine-y, I guess. I'm waiting for it to dry. But yeah, camo for dioramas definitely can work. It just depends on the level of detail on the miniature. So in this case, it's not a crazy amount of detail. I still wouldn't want to paint a Space Marine in camo. Just flat out. All right. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to do a wash on this. I might just call it here. Space Marine with... oh, hold on. Actually, I can leave the base. Random Marine number 3. Body, purple metal. Pads and helmet, copper. Trim, dark yellow, which looks a lot like green. I would even call it just green. And the weapon, pastel blue. I did a bit of an inverted coloring on the weapon so that the recesses are light blue and the top part is a little bit darker blue to give it a little bit of a glow. But I'm also only spending half an hour on this mini, so, we're not looking for craziness here. That's our random marine of the day. Yeah. Nice little warm-up. Kind of ridiculous. I had a lot of fun with shading the yellow bits. And I'm actually kind of surprised how well the yellow and purple and orange and copper kind of came together. But I still would not do a whole army like this. This would drive me insane. I'm just looking at it. Just would be like, what's going on, guys? Why are all your weapons glowing like it's Borderlands? Alright. I'm going to put this guy away. And we're going to move on to the main event, which is not going to fit on this handle. I'm going to need the big handle. And I don't know where I put it. Where did I put the big handle? Is it over here? It is. Big handle. The claw. think this will... Oh yeah, this will fit. Barely. But it will fit. So I'm going to have to do some clever positioning with the... Hold on, let me zoom it out. I'm going to have to do some clever positioning with this rotating piece. I use it as a hand rest. Yeah, this is our Taker of Champions that we're going to be painting today. And, yeah, I have ideas for what I'm going to do for it. I definitely want the light kind of splashing on his face and, like, lighting up face, shoulders, sword, and kind of leaving the hand for more dramatic lighting. So it won't be as lit up. And the feet and the tentacles will be a little bit more dark. And then in the back here, I think I'm going to have lighting coming from the bottom. And the idea is that it kind of catches the tips of this fabric and like lights that up. And then the shoulder will be quite dark still. That's the plan. We'll see if we get there. Need to unlock this. Because I need to prime him still. And it's convenient we've already got Donkey out, because I was going to need him anyways. Oh. For a long time, the most dreaded technique, I think, for a lot of people, is edge highlighting. It's something that you see people do all the time, and you see them talking about it, like, blah, 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 edge highlight this, edge highlight that. And the truth is that they're right. The truth is you should be learning how to do edge highlighting. Because, I mean, you saw me doing it in the job just now. You just will need it. No matter what you do. There's no getting out of needing edge highlighting. Got our Mecha Color primer. Which I don't think we'll even need that much of it. But, and put it back over there. And, as I always say, wear a glove. I got a bunch of people who are excited to see how this model comes out, I think. I've been talking about it with people on Discord. It's definitely come up as like, you know, this is the kind of Elden Ring type stuff that people want to see. Of course, I am happy to deliver. So what you're going to see me do is I'm still going to do a zenithal, which is the spraying from above. Because it will help me make out some of the details that I'd otherwise miss. But then I'm going to blast over the zenithal with like the actual lighting. And I use any of my overspraying as like a map for anything. I think people assume that I just have a vision in my head of what I'm going to paint. But the reality is I try to map in as much as possible. Because I know that I have a dumb brain. And I know that I'll forget stuff. Or, you know, I won't remember how I wanted things rendered. Or whatever. And I'll end up with like a nothing really. How much of this do we have left? Oh, none. Okay, good. So the guy who makes this music that I use, Karl Casey, he's Canadian, which is awesome. As a fellow Canadian, I think he's out of Vancouver. Great. So for the overspray, I'm just going to use a gray color, because that'll be enough for me to see what I'm doing. And then for the highlighting white stuff, I'll use actual white. Great. There. Great. I think. Great. That's what I want. Hey, brother! Do I have a tutorial recommendation for the highlighting technique he was talking about? You mean like for zenithal lighting? There's a bunch of them. I'm also about to demonstrate it right here. So this is zenithal. I don't know how well you can tell actually from the camera, but like I'll do it sideways and try not to spill. So the models here. The models here, and I'm gonna have the airbrush kind of from here pointing down, and doing like imitating like skylight. But again, I'm just using gray because I don't need a lot of illumination to see the details. It's just enough so that I can pick up on stuff. Great. And here is the result of the initial gray pass. In. So that's with the that's with the gray. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with white, but I'm going to do it from the angle that I want the light coming at it. So again, I really want to focus on the face kind of over to the shoulders and then up on the sword. I want that whole area well lit, not the legs. Just kind of this area. The parts in the legs are going to be somewhat lit, but not as bright as this middle area. And then on the back, as I mentioned before, I kind of just want like a little bit of backlighting. So this is all going to be pretty muted. Not like black, but just like darker. And the lighting from here is going to be my goal is that I can just hit the tips of these pieces of fabric so that they kind of like it, so that it still feels like he's in the environment, but like, you know, if there was a bonfire, if it was like a serious light source, it would be going right here on his face. So I'm going to switch over to some white paint and mark that out so that I have a map, so I know what I'm doing later on. Let me just dump the rest of this gray because I don't need it anymore. My favorite, Matt White. Matt, if you're there, I love you. I love all my friends. I just like to make Matt jokes because I'm always using Matt White. Come on, Matt White. What's going on? Is this thing clogged? It might be. It doesn't seem to be. Use the long needle. That'll do it. Seems like it was clogged kind of further down into the bottle. All right. I don't need a lot. I'm gonna thin this down. Elville? Can I just call you Evil? I'm gonna call you Evil because I can't pronounce Elneville. So Evil. Our Citadel paint's good. Yes. Our Citadel paint bottle's good. No. So, it's a thing that like. Some people are like diehard, like gotta have Citadel in the bottle fans. I think those people are crazy because for me, everything's got to be almost scientific. Like I've got specific ratios for everything, and the bottles, I've got one of them for reference, are these things, right? These things are if you're trying to get a precise measurement and you don't have like a syringe, then like good luck. What you end up doing is you end up being really good at estimating how much paint is on a brush, and so you do your calculations or whatever in like brush dips. But if you're someone like me, by the way, I recreated this based off of a Squidmar video, so in case you're wondering where this comes from, I have a whole sheet that I use to keep track of like the consistencies of my paints for different layers and stuff. And I gotta put that back up. And that's a lot easier to do with an eyedropper bottle where I can drop out and actually see, you know, how much paint comes out every time that I squeeze. Because you can, like, it's as the name suggests, it's just drops. It's a lot easier for me to do, like, oh, you know, this is this is how much paint, this is how much water. The Citadel pots, they don't give you any of that. So what I do is, let me see if I can find an example. Dang. Come on, I know I got one. Get out of here. So what I do, I'll mix this up so it looks nice on camera, is I take eyedropper bottles and the label from the Citadel paint peels off. And it still has a sticky back after you peel it off. So, Evil, what I do is I would go on Amazon, get a whole like pack of these. They come in packs of like 40. And get yourself a little funnel, or 3D print one if you have a 3D printer, and just transfer them over to these. And your life will be better. I can guarantee it. Anyways, but back to your original question. Are Citadel paints good? Yes. The other paints that other people use are also good. There's very few that are bad. The reason why people prefer some over others has to do with coverage and consistency. So, like, Citadel paints are very thick. Come on. There we go. Citadel paints are very thick, so they have to be thinned down a lot to get, like, a good result. Whereas, Scale 75 paints are very thin. You don't have to thin it out very much at all, or if you do thin it out, it thins out really nicely. So, like, people's preferences really comes down to how the paint behaves once it's outside of the bottle, mixing with the elements, and you're trying to get a specific result out of it. Anyways, lighting time. I'm going to go slowly. I'm doing small circles, by the way. I know it looks like my hand's just wobbling. I'm trying to do circles. You can kind of see what I was going for. This is the lit up face, the shoulders, the arm, the weapon. That's like the parts that I wanted to give a lot of focus to. The arm that's down here on the right, I kind of want to leave that in shadow because I like the detail that it has, but I want it to be like little cool moments that I call out, not the whole thing blasted in like whatever color. That's the easy part. The hard part's the back now. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that. Usually what you do is you just tilt the model in the angle you want it and then go nuts. But I think I got it. And I'm also out of white paint. Okay. So here we go. Here's our map. The parts that are light are going to be light. Which I feel like is dumb, but that's how it is. The parts that are light, I'm going to base coat in a lighter color. The parts that are dark, I'm going to base coat those in a darker color, and that's how I'm going to move forward with all of this. I tried to do the edges in white, but yeah, but I'm out of paint. I got a little bit of it, like you can see on camera, although in person it doesn't even look that strong of a gradient. Yeah. Now, this is supposed to be a human at some point. So I think what's going to happen is it's going to be skin tones on the... well, actually, the face is a mask. It's not even his face. It's just a mask. The arm is the only piece of him that indicates humanity. And I want that to still look human, so that when you look at him, it's not like zombie or weird, crazy monster. Again, I think part of the horror that makes it exciting and interesting to look at is realizing and really understanding that this is a human that has become corrupted, not just a weird monster. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Okay, we've got a bunch of areas to cover. We've got the heraldry. We've got the cloak. We've got his armor, and we've got the weird flesh bits. And I'm gonna try and get it all done tonight. So, yeah. I'm gonna start with. Can someone from the chat tell me which part to start with? Just like name any part. I just need a bit of inspiration from you guys to tell me like where should I begin? Where do you want it? What do you want to see first? Because this stream's gonna go later on. Yes, I do have a community Discord. This is gonna go on for a little while. So what part do you want to see before the hands? Okay, cool. Hands. I'm gonna use these three because I'm not really worried about really bright colors. So these two are gonna be my. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not even in camera. These two are gonna be my light and dark. So my dark base coat is gonna be in Vallejo's Burnt Red. And my light base coat is going to be in the Bugman's Glow from Citadel. And I'm going to follow it like a paint by numbers. Like the parts that are dark, are just, I'm not even going to overthink it. The thinking happens before you pick up a brush. The thinking happens when you make a plan, not when you're actually painting. When you're actually painting, your brain is just on like pause. Because there's so many little decisions being made. If you actually try and make a plan in the moment, you might have a bad time. I always like starting with the dark. let's start with the dark. This is evil. This is one of those. Oh, sorry, I don't. I'll add you. How do I do this? You know, I'll just drop it in the chat. Oh wait, go check out my Patreon. It's there. Plus, then you can join the Patreon, which has nothing in it yet, just to be clear. But I think the link is there. And if it's not, bug me again and I'll do the thing. But I have no apps and no bots set up on this yet. Okay. Paint by numbers. No think. Just paint. God, he's got some disgusting nails. Oh, right. Handle. There we go. It also helps because then when I'm filming, my actual hands are in the way less. There's a cool thing happening over here where, like, the hand is dark, but then I get to the back side of the hand and it's actually lit up. Is the handle a good investment? I printed it. It's 3D printed. So if you got a printer, just print it. Otherwise, it's an okay investment. It really depends what you want out of it. Like, if you're looking for more brush control, keep on practicing just holding the model in your own hands. Like stick with what's most natural. It's nice to have a handle. It's not like necessary for quote unquote getting good. There's a lot of ways to get good, and you don't have to do it this way. Yeah. I'm actually kind of glad we did this first. I'm already making mistakes. Getting paint where I'm not supposed to get paint. Yeah, so again, it's a good investment depending on what you want. Yeah. For like showcasing, like what I'm doing right now, yes, it's a good investment. For just good old fashioned painting, there are definitely better investments. Like for instance, a vortex mixer, which is this thing. Oop. This doodad. It's called a vortex mixer. You take a bottle, and it mixes it for you. That is a worthwhile investment. Hell yeah. Okay, I think I've got most of the gray areas I wanted to hit. Oh, I guess this guy has a bit of flesh over here. It's kind of hiding. And a hand over here. Stay hydrated, guys. Very important. This is a situation where practicing edge highlighting is helpful. Why what? Like, why stay hydrated? Because it's good for you? I don't know. Oh, you're going to have to remind me, because I'm not remembering what I said. The highlighting part? the downside of being so deep in the sauce, as I call it, is that my ability to think comes in waves. Where like, I'll go off on a topic. For instance, you were asking about like worthwhile investments, and for that little bit of time, my brain wakes up and is like, "Hello, I can do stuff. I can answer questions," and then it goes back to painting, and it's like MIA. No one home. Stepped away for dinner. Show me the marine. Oh, I got a minute. It looks nuts. There we go. Blue gun, green shoes, green trim, absolutely nuts. Oh. Sorry. Yes, evil. Now I know what you mean. I was talking about specifically why edge highlighting is useful. So edge highlighting is that technique where you're just catching the edge of part of your model with like a very bright color, and the idea is you're trying to draw out its the nice details that are in it. For this particular model, all of these veins and stuff, catching all of these and like just tracing along with them is like it's not quite edge highlighting, but it's a lot of detail work, and detail work is where having practiced a lot of edge highlighting really pays off. That's what I was getting at. Thank you for reminding me. There's some details in this guy's like armpit that I have to paint because it's very much a part of the model. But it's a part of the model I don't think I'll ever be able to capture on camera. Which is sometimes it just be like that, you know? Is anyone also painting something, while we hang out? One mech, 2 submarines, and an aircraft. That's sweet. Also, hey, Crunch Time. Crunch Time. Evil. If you end up getting into the Discord, you'll see some of Crunch Time's work, and he does really cool mech stuff. Lately, he's been doing. You know how I was talking about camo? He's been doing camo. Okay. got ourselves a really nice starting spot here. Just doing these fingernails the same color as everything else because I can always highlight them later. Okay. This is a. Oh, you haven't put it into our Discord. You could. This is the arm so far. We're gonna light it up a little bit more, just giving more accents to the parts that are that light of red. And I also need to do. Sorry, I still need to do the base coat for the other arm, the human arm. So we're not done. I can understand why this guy doesn't have his nails cut. If I had a really effed up arm like that, I'd probably have a hard time cutting my nails too. What should be in my Discord, my channel description? Oh. Yes, this should. Hold on. Obviously, I'm still figuring this stuff out. But yes, there you go. Evil, there you go. Welcome to the group. We don't have a nickname for anyone yet. Like we don't have a nickname. Like we don't have a name for like Swifties or whatever. Although I personally like calling people lemons because I think it's funny. All right, that's all the exposed skin. That's almost all the exposed skin I need to care about. There's a little bit in the back of the neck that no one's ever going to see, but I'm going to get it. Again, I'm glad I'm doing this at the beginning rather than the end because I can make a mess of it and clean it up later. Okay. Let's get to highlighting this skin. Because I chose two colors that are pretty... Lemonites. I like that. Because I chose two colors that are pretty close to each other, I don't really need to worry about blending. What I do need to worry about is making sure the highlights don't look whack. So, let's do that together. For the highlights, I'm going to go with... I want like a reddish, pinkish color because I want it to look unwell. So I'm going to go with beige red from Vallejo. And then for the really bright highlights, light flesh. And then I'm also going to do, and this is a trick that I've been using recently, a little bit of frost blue. And it just makes the flesh look a little bit refractive or a little bit lighter, which is the way actual skin works. Oh, I got 7 viewers. Good golly. Alright. It's highlighting time. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because the one I've been using is tremendously big. Yeah, I'm going to go with this one. It's a good size. Yeah. Yes. Yes. See? Crunch Time knows what I'm talking about. Those vortex mixers are just so good. Just so good. Okay. Great. No, you don't. You do not need to earn the vortex mixer. When I started streaming, this is not how I held models when I was painting them. I would have like a totally different grip. I just, I'd do it all differently. It's only when I started putting this stuff, like recording it and making videos of it and doing it on stream and all this stuff, that I had to like change a lot of how I paint. Most notably, the left hand grip. Hey man, the vortex mixer is pretty great on nail polishes. Okay. That's looking pretty bright. That's going to be like a nice pop. Remember, no think. No brain. Just paint. You do not need to think about, you know, does this color belong here? Is this really how this works? Blah, blah, blah. No think. Only paint. You have your map. Stick to it. Okay. For real. No think, just paint. Okay, so because I do want some definition in the darker areas, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to highlight it, but I'm going to highlight it using Bugman's Glow, which is what I used for the highlights, what I used for the base coat of the light areas. But first I'm going to finish highlighting the light areas. So I'm going to raise that all up super bright, and then I'm going to go back in with Bugman's Glow and raise up the dark areas. Just because I'm looking at a lot of like plain, and I don't want plain. I do want full highlighting. So next up, light flesh. Usually I just mix my own colors. Like if I wasn't on stream, I would just you have light flesh? Good. Vortex mixers in labs are expensive. Vortex mixers at home are cheap. They're like $35, maybe $40, I think. Maybe it's possible some of them are like more expensive. Also, I bought mine years ago. I don't know if prices have changed. Oh, Bugman's Glow. Yeah, Bugman's Glow is good. I mean, again, they're a lot of them are good. They do make good paints. But because I'm getting into kind of tiny territory, I'm going for a tiny brush. So, another important lesson. Wash your brushes. Okay, yeah, if you can just take one from your lab, then do that, because the lab ones are going to be better than the ones that you buy online. But it doesn't matter. Just get one. Get any one. Like, they all kind of do the same thing. The lab ones are going to be more efficient at it, but they all kind of do the same thing. They shake up the paint real good, and they save your wrist. So, Evil, do you want me to show you how to wash a brush, or are you good on that? Because I know this is something that I harp on for all of my friends, and not everyone actually knows how to do it, which is fine. Okay. This is called Brush Cleaner. It's from The Masters. I don't know why we call them The Masters, but it's the brand. It looks more plain white. This is what it looks like after you've used it a lot. So you're going to take your brush. You're going to make it wet. You're going to put it in the thing here, and I'm not quite mashing it like a toddler, but I am mashing it. Getting it all nice and covered in this stuff. And then I'm going to take it over to the paper towel and just kind of like pull and twist. And the reason why I'm doing that is so that after mashing, all the bristles can go back to a point. Pulling and twisting. I've made this damp spot of soap. I'm going to go back in with more water, get back into the soap, and pull and twist again. And basically I'm just trying to get any leftover paint out of the brush. Um, Pro tip: if you're trying to get your crease back or your point, you do this. Close your pinky, and twist, and you'll get like a nice tip. Something else that you can do with brush soap that not everyone knows is I'm gonna make my brush wet and hit the brush soap. Not crazy, not like a toddler, just a little bit. I'm gonna do the twist and pull inside the brush soap. Get a little bit off the bristles. Do the same thing here, pull and twist. And once more in the palm. And I'm gonna leave the brush soap in. And there's a reason for that. Brush soap also works like conditioner. It's kind of like Head and Shoulders for your brush. Except that you can leave it in. And I've even got some paint built up in the base of the barrel. But whatever, I'm not going to deal with that right now. Because I'm teaching. You can leave the soap in. And what's going to happen is it's going to harden up a little bit. Kind of like how that new brush feeling is. And it basically conditions your bristles. So that every time you come back to like a really nice, crisp, pointy brush. This is a cheap Amazon brush. But it's still in good shape because I wash it. Wash your brush. Get soap. This will cost you about half as much as a Vortex mixer. Time for tiny brush. Not super tiny brush, just tiny brush. This is a 3-0 if for anyone who's tracking. Is brush soap different from kitchen soap? Yes. Can you wash brushes in kitchen soap? Also yes. Should you? It's questionable. Technically it'll work. It just won't work as well. Any oils that are in the brush, will be stripped out, good and bad. So, take it with a grain of salt. Maybe not. But technically, yes. Okay. Also, since you're learning, I know my palette is a mess. But look here. This is the paint. And look here. I know it's red and goopy. I've got my own bottle of water. Also in a squeeze bottle. This is a ketchup bottle I got from a food supply store. Or kitchen supply store. And I put water on my own palette. I don't mix it directly into the paint. And then what I'll do is I'll take a bit of the paint, like here. Here, I'll move it closer. Little paint there. Put it in this little secondary pool, which is why this thing has gotten so messy. Go grab some water, and then bring it back over here, and that's how I'm mixing my paints down. That's how you do it. Ideally, I'm trying to not... Let me see if I can get this in focus. Ideally, I'm trying to not let the paint get all the way up to the top of the paintbrush, which is called the barrel. Because if the paint gets in there, then you're really screwed. Or rather, it can start to degrade your brush. So I try to keep it just a little bit away. This is even a little bit closer than I usually do. If you get paint in there, it's not a big deal. Just wash the brush right away. Don't let it dry. But yeah. Brush tricks. Also, smaller brushes will naturally dry out faster. So if you're wondering, unless you really like frayed brushes. So smaller brushes naturally dry out faster. There are fancy brushes you can buy, like what's it called? Series 7 whatever Kolinsky brushes. That are really good and hold their moisture for longer. That's what makes them really good. But longer does not mean long. So the tiny Kolinsky sable brushes, will hold moisture for longer, but you're still dealing with a smaller barrel, a smaller set of hairs. It's just gonna dry out faster. The same way that I have relatively short hair and my wife has relatively long hair, and my hair dries faster than hers. Why? Because there's less of it. That's it. The way too small. Oh, you bought the Is it smaller than this? This is a 10-0. This is my my little needle brush. I use it, but only in like specific situations. Most of the time, I'm not using it. It's too specific. See, my paint's like me yapping. It's already dry. There's two ways you can the exact same one. Nice. There's two ways you can re-wet a brush after it's gone dry. One is you just wash it and like refill and whatever. The other is you can hold the tip of the brush that has the paint on it in a little puddle of water on your palette, and it will rehydrate on its own. Although then you run the risk of like seriously diluting it. So use at your own risk. These holds are for your hand to go on. Tiny brush for things like dotting eyeballs. Actually, I've heard people are starting to use either sewing needles or pens to do the eyeballs. Haven't personally tried it yet, but I can see it working. Also, Evil, if you are like old enough to have a wife, then you're old enough to have a 3D printer. I guarantee you'll find uses for it. Just a little bit thick. It's kind of coming out more gloopy than I need it to. That is some lighting. Yeah, you can. Yeah, totally. If he has a bamboo printer, that's even better because the file that I used for this handle is like hosted on like the bamboo whatever, model marketplace. No. Sorry. No. The Bamboo is the name of the 3D printer brand. They make 3D printers. Not you don't print bamboo. Okay. The only downside to this handle, it's very hard to paint things that are high up because the handle is quite long. And my brush is dry. That's okay. I'm almost done this part. Cool. Nice effect going on here. Very highs and lows. It'll really come together once I do the highlights for the darker parts. This handle comes from a 3D printer, my 3D printer. It's a free file. I don't really know how to. I can find it for you and put it into the Discord. And then, you can print your own. Yeah, this one can hold larger than 32 millimeters, obviously. This is kind of the maximum size I'm holding right now. It's going to be an interesting problem for later. But, yeah. But yeah, you 3D print it. It's a free file. You just have to pay for the materials. Okay, we're on to the blue highlights, and you just have to trust me when I say like it works. The blue highlights on skin, it just makes it really pop nicely. You just have to be, very patient, gentle, sparing. I don't know. Not like light-handed with it. Okay. It's kind of just going on the lightest parts. Okay. And that's all the blue I gotta do. Time to use some Bugman's Glow to try and bring up the middle. Sorry, the darker sections. This is one of those trust the process things. Yes. 100%. Hundo P. So for this part, the parts that are actually, what do I do with the minis? So my first objective is to figure out how to film this, efficiently. I think I've gotten pretty good with the Twitch part, but I haven't figured out the YouTube part. Once I can get that figured out, I'm gonna start giving these away because I'm doing like 3 a week, so it's gonna be like it's gonna be a giveaway. If you live in Toronto, you'll be given away to earlier than the others because of shipping reasons. Anyways, what I was gonna say is that for the parts that are in shadow, I'm just focusing on what's high and what's low. So the stuff that's higher is gonna get a highlight. The stuff that's lower is not gonna get a highlight. Swiss cheese for a mini? What do you mean? Oh, you mean you'd trade me Swiss cheese? You know what? I'd take that trade. No, the issue is just shipping. That's all. That's the only thing holding me back. Doing all these nails highlighted because they're nails. And they're gross. Evil, where are you based? Because you said Swiss cheese. So I imagine Switzerland? I'm Dutch, so it's very easy to buy me with cheese. I'm just saying, you are barking up the correct tree. Okay, getting some definition in here, which is good. And what we're going to do is we're going to repeat a lot of the same processes of what we just did. It's just less of it, you know? Ah, that would be cool. That would be really cool. No, I'm planning on giving them away. Because you can't see the rest of my workshop, but I have too much stuff to keep it. Gonna water this down. So I realize that this hand that I've made really light is actually quite far from the light. So it doesn't need to be that well lit. All right. I think it reads well. There's still dark parts. There's still light parts. I do have a pile of shame. But it's in the form of like whole armies. Which I would paint on stream, but I don't think I should be advertising, alternative ways to get armies. Alright. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to move on. That is the arms done. Next, I'm going to do the cloak stuff. Partly because I think I can reuse some of the paints I've already got out. And also because it's the next thing in terms of, like, depth. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to do a little bit more. Back up. Okay. I got stuff from 6 carders and they didn't get here, so I got more. By the time they got here, I was already in trouble. Hey, yeah, that's a little bit of why I'm like not so sure. But I do know it's a good way to like build followers. Like I'm still pretty early in the, YouTube, Twitch thing. So I'm not that worried about like building up a followership right now because again I'm trying to learn so much. But at some point I will want to start gathering followers and that's going to be a good way to do it. All right. Same deal as before. We've got a light base color and a dark base color. The light base color is going to be English Uniform from Vallejo. And the dark base color is going to be Flat Earth, also from Vallejo. Vallejo is a popular one for me. And it's going to be all these like flaps and stuff. Although I've been feeling the red lately. I might do you know what? I might do red. Yeah. I might do red. I do have a lot of reds, and this guy's already very red. But it'll be nice to contrast with the blue armor. Yeah. To hell with it. We're going to do red. It's going to be a red cloak. So instead of the browns, it's going to be reds. So for the dark, we're going to go really dark, black red. And for the light, it's going to be burnt red. And for the highlights, I'm going to be working up with blood red. And then that's going to be kind of how we do this. Or do I have another red I can use that's just a little bit darker? You know what? I did this model... I did this Tuesday. And this was with like the strong red. And I think I might just do the strong red again. So, yeah, I'm just going to do straight up red. Pastel blue. No, I'm not going to do that. That would be crazy. I'm going to do blood red for the lights, and I'm going to use burnt red for the darks. This one's from AK, and this one's from Vallejo. Oh my god. And he was going to throw everything everywhere, apparently. Put this yellow away, because I'm not using it anymore. Put away this blue. And, yeah, let's do some red. Such a fun color doing red. I'm still kind of scared of it, because it's, like, so strong. But, you know, face your fears and all that. Don't think, just paint. Should take my own advice. Okay. Light stuff is going to be red. Dark stuff is going to be dark red. I'm also getting a lot better at not, like, drifting out of camera. You should see my first streams. They were horrendous. I need a knife. Dang it. I thought I could do all this without finding my knife, but... Give me one moment, guys. I'll be right back. Where is my knife? I know I have it somewhere. But where? Oh, there it is. I found it. What's the knife used for? I'll tell you. When you 3D print something, you have to make supports. And little lines like this show up. They're leftovers from the printing process. I need to remove them because they're in the way. And they shouldn't be there in the first place. There's another one over there that was bugging me. That's what the knife is for. Yes. I also like to use it to point at stuff because it's shiny, so I can like really easily use it as like a pointer. A tweezer? That would drive me insane. No, it needs to be a knife. Okay, I think that was it. I usually clean these before I even go on stream, so it's weird that it's even there. Okay, done with the knife. Back to the painting. Because this brush is so big, it didn't even dry out when I was looking for my knife. Pants. Brown or red? Discuss. Dark brown like dusted? I could do that. That is easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Not as much is going to be crazy red as it was last time, which I'm kind of grateful for. Okay. Yep. I'm just now realizing that the thing around his shoulders, that all of, come on, reflect. All of this stuff here is actually metal, not red. So in that case, I'll still stick with the brown pants. There's not as much red as I was worried about. It's not going to turn into Red Riding Hood. In fact, most of this is just going to be the dark red. There's only a few spots that actually have real highlights. Okay. Light part done. Dark part begin. Did I just use burnt red? I think I did. I already have it on the palette. I don't need to worry about anything. I'm going to need more, but that's alright. Okay. This is why I usually like painting light first. Sorry, dark first. It's because then the brush strokes that go kind of beyond your initial intent, so like the little flicks and stuff, end up adding character to the light. But doing it light first means that the flicks, you know, what gets left over on the topmost layer is dark. Oh well. Stuff happens. Best viewers streamaboo. I do not need the best. I already have the best viewers. Are you kidding me? I don't need to go to a website to get viewers. Probably bots. Anyways. This is a challenging angle to not only paint, but also to film. I'm grateful that the camera's right on top of me, because otherwise there's no way I'd be getting this into the focal range or, you know, the sweet spot with the camera. There's just no way. I know because I tried. I used to have it so it would like look over my shoulder, but then my hand would always get in the way. So now I have it kind of like a little bit in front of my head. I need more burnt red. Oh, I missed a bit of flesh. I didn't realize he was back here. That's okay. I'll just base it the same color. It was supposed to be this color anyways, and I'll just have to come back and do some highlighting on it. That's okay. No one on the actual YouTube video will know unless they stay and watch the super, super long Twitch stream video and like are scanning and just hit this one spot. Ooh-wee. Okay. For those curious, this brush I'm using right now came from a store called Dollarama, known for its inexpensive goods and generally poor quality. Just goes to show you can get good brushes anywhere. Oh wait, no, shit, sorry, not Dollarama, this is from Michael's. Still, not a fancy hobby store. Just a regular old art store. Okay, red's base coated. Now to come back in with a small brush and sketch in some texture. I've already got pink on the palette, so I'm just going to reuse the pink. Oops. To make some slightly lighter colors. Oh my gosh. So for fabrics, in case you're ever painting fabrics, you're just doing textures. When textures are just tiny little lines layered on top of each other over and over again. That's it. Takes time because, you know, you got to do the lines, but it's, you know, cognitively speaking, not difficult. Patience-wise, a lot of people don't have the time for it. Cool. Time to go even lighter. More towards the pink. I should be careful with that. That's not a nice thing to say. Plus, there might be children. Now this is a vibe I can get behind. Oh my god, is the music not even going? How long has the music not been going? Restart capture. There we go. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. There's supposed to be music going that whole time. Okay. Since the Marine? Wait, the whole time? Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Everybody. Oh. God, and I thought I was getting a hang of this. Jeez. Stupid OBS. Oh. Well, no wonder no one told me. Because, you didn't know. If you got better focus, great. I like to listen to music when I paint. You guys must have been so confused when I was talking about the music and the guy from Edmonton or whatever. BC. Which is not Edmonton, I realize. Alright, great. Now I'm going to do the same thing. Is it difficult to understand me now with the music? Is it too loud? Put it down. There we go. That should be better. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, just with the texturing using the darker colors, kind of like how I did on the skin. It should come out better than it did on the skin because this is a flat surface we're working with. Alright, I'm getting some good definition in here. I'm going to be moving on to the next thing pretty soon. He says, ruining it. Still, I think we got a nice range of color. Oh, I was asking, can you hear me well enough over the music? The answer sounds like maybe, probably. Okay. How are we doing? 9 o'clock? So it's been 3 hours? This can't be right. Yeah, 2.5. We're going to do the dusty gray business on these lower parts, and then we're going to get into the metals. And the metals are going to be really interesting, because that's where the freehanding stuff is going to have to happen. Alright. Ooh. I think I'm done with the red for a little while, so I'm going to actually wash it out of the brush, because it is awesome, but it's like glitter. It's friggin' like impossible to get rid of. What do we always say? Clean your brush. Oh God, look how much is coming out of there. That is a clean brush. I'm just going to run it through, fill it up with a little bit more of the soap, and put it away for storage. Great. We're on to kind of a sandy brown. So I'm going to go for, oh man, a quick movement of the body, because the body needs to move. Oh man. I should do like a yoga session. Like, alright everybody, take a step up, put down your paints, put down your palettes. We're going to do a little bit of painting. Sorry, a little bit of stretching, not painting. Alright. This is our Rakarth Flesh, which is a nice desaturated brown. And honestly, because I'm feeling lazy, I'm just going to like mix a bit of black into it for the shadowy parts. Because I can't think of another color that's going to look really good, you know, matching this off the top of my head. So that isn't like green. And then for the highlights, flayed one flesh. Is it flesh? Sorry, sometimes I just say little sound things. Okay. Light things are going to be done in Rakarth Flesh. Dark things are going to be done in Rakarth Flesh with black. Switching to this brush, because I feel like it. And I'm going to get some fresh water, because that water is all red. Okay. Wait, I just complained about painting dark colors second. I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna start with black, or the darker color, and then I'll finish with the nice color. Where's my black? There it is. Great. Dark stuff first. The opposite of what I was doing before. Luckily, on this part of the cloak, it's mostly dark. There's very little that's light because it's so far down on the model. Some of these parts are just such a pain in the butt to get to. Hold on, I gotta pop this off the thing. Because I just can't reach it otherwise. Okay. Grand. Back on the thing with you. Okay. A little bit of water. That's already a nice little bit of contrast. We are already heading in the correct direction. which is always a good feeling. Cool. This is kind of thin, so I'm going to do a second coat. Do you have any tips on how to make the Citadel paint? Is that a technical paint? I got one kind of like that. Does it say technical on it? Like under Citadel, but above the title. Okay. That is a halfway point between a contrast paint and a wash. The best thing I can recommend is find something to practice on. Just put it on something and see how it behaves. But generally, the technical paints are, they're like not quite a wash, not quite a paint. They have some extra chemicals in it that let them flow a little bit differently or spread a little bit differently. And that can make them really handy. But generally, you're going to want to do white highlighting on a black base. So like a strong highlight before you apply whatever the thing is that you're going to apply. Just because it's a thinner paint, usually anyways, it's going to show the light parts better. So you want to prepare by making light parts for it to show. Does that make sense? Rock hard flesh. Oops. Flayed one flesh. That should do it. Does this paint do anything? Oh, it is. It's just almost nothing. Okay, no, I'm not using that paint. That's not going to do anything for me. I'm going to bust out some matte white. I wish this thing would tell me. So you should base it in black and then highlight it and then use the technical. Usually. I mean, test it on something before you put it on your favorite model. You've been basic. It's been metal gray and then white and then green. Oh, you're doing Necrons? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, Necrons. Pick a style that you really love because you're gonna be doing that a lot. um, if you've just started, Necron Warriors, especially if you're gonna play the game, Necron Warriors are going to be. You're gonna have so many of them, an incredible amount of them. So, you know how I did the random marine? Oh, you're in the Discord. Okay, in the Discord, I can send you my spinner that I use, and you can give it a try for yourself, and just like do some Necrons the same way I do the random marine. Just like do the spinner, see what it gives you. Don't question what it gives you. Like if it gives you something stupid like what it gave me today, don't question it. Just do it. And explore, because like I think people try too hard. No, I get that. I think people try too hard trying to come up with like their ideal, especially Necron template, and they don't actually do much exploration. They just kind of go with like, oh, this works for me, or this is kind of what I want. And I mean, you're gonna come up with something good no matter what. I'm not worried about that. It's more, I would take the opportunity to try something. And with Necrons, you've got a particular model that you've got a billion of them. I got my one friend Liam who plays Necrons, and he's got, gosh, I think 70 warriors. So he's got opportunity to mess around and try something out. This has gotten a little weird in terms of music. One sec. Let me just make sure I'm still on the right thing. Music. Next. That was just too much. You just sent the Doom Scythe? Oh yeah, let me check out the Discord. That is really nice. I like how you got like the brushed brass look. That looks really, really nice. But you definitely okay. So the thing I can see something that you can improve on. Um, when you do the green bits, I don't know if you're already doing this, but do them white, like paint them white, and then take one of these. It's a small makeup brush. You can ask your wife where to get one. And you're gonna take white again, and you're just going to where the lines meet. You're gonna dab it a little bit, like that, like over and over again. And what you're gonna end up with is these areas that are white with a little bit of like speckly stuff happening, and that's going to give you the illusion of this part's glowing more than the rest. If you thin the white out a little bit so it's not like super white, it's just like kind of white, so like make it very watery, and then only a little bit of paint on the brush at a time, you can build up that effect. When you're done with that, then you go in with your neon green color, and the white underneath is going to really elevate the color green that you're working with. But it means extra work. I mean, I'm never going to give you advice that doesn't end up as extra work. I'm sorry. But that's my little feedback. Let me know if that's helpful, or if I'm just like spouting stuff that's not useful to you. Almost done with this loin cloth situation going on here. I just want to give it a little bit more texturing, and then I'm getting on to the steel. And I actually don't know if I'm going to finish this model tonight, which kind of messes with my schedule. But we'll see. Okay. I'm happy with that. It's a good amount of texturing on this. The bronze part is where you use can't talk. The bronze part is where I used Bugman's Glow. I was so happy with the result. I did it on all of my other minis already. Amazing. Yeah, Bugman's Glow is great. Did you also... is it a metallic paint that you also have? Or is it dry brushed afterwards with metallic? Also, in other news, it's time to do the metal. So, the metal's going to be a lot of fun. I've been doing a lot of non-metallic metal lately, and this is going to be no different. I've got the formula down pretty good because I've been doing it a lot. So I've got my grayscale collection, my blacks and darks and all that. This is going to be a warm steel because I want it to be kind of dirty. So I'm actually going to mix in a little bit. You know what? I'm going to use Bugman's Glow Rockhearth Flesh instead of the basic gray, so that it kind of veers a little bit more warm, earthy tone rather than just cold steel. And yeah, I will still use a little bit of the blue to give it that little sparkle of different coloring. But first things first, it's just like every other part. The dark parts are going to be base coated in petroleum gray, and the light parts are going to be base coated in brown gray. These are scale color, makes really good paints, but they are different than what you're used to. They do not thin out the same way that other paints do. You primed it with metallic gray, and then use Balthazar gold on it, and then the Bugman's Glow. Oh, okay, cool. Dry brushing is another technique I'll have to show you sometime. But it's basically you take a big fat brush, like this sucker right here, and you dab it with paint and go over the whole thing, and it gives you this really cool effect. I don't do it in any of the videos here because I'm trying to flex and show off, but I can totally do it in another video. Like next I'm streaming again on Saturday. I can do it on Saturday. Anyways, what I was saying is that they don't thin down the way that you expect. They thin down kind of thin, but regular thin paints, when they're too thin, they'll just not really go anywhere, or they'll just goop in the middle. These ones still hold their shape really nicely, which I'm getting really technical here, but basically they paint like regular paint. You use more layers of it, and you can build up a better gradient using scale color. But it is going to take more layers. That's what I was trying to say. Starting with petroleum gray. Use a big fat brush, bigger and fatter. Where's that blue one I was using? Oh, there it is. Petroleum gray on the dark parts. That's where we're starting. More leg. Oh, this leg isn't even armored. I keep on finding more flesh to do. I'm gonna have to go back through and redo all the, not redo, but add in the parts that were supposed to be fleshed up but weren't. That's okay. This model, just like a lot of Beastarium models, just keeps on giving and giving. only painting the armor that is this guy's like under armor, not the everything. So like if I can discern, what is or what isn't. Actually, here I can show you. There's like a spot in here where the lighting isn't very bright. That's going to be petroleum gray. Okay. Looks like there's a little bit of his actual armor under here. And I'm going to do his sword in his armor color as well. While we're at it. I'll come up with a different metal to use for this little wrap going on here. Okay. I think I've got all the parts I needed to get in my petroleum gray. Now I'm going to get started with the lighter parts. Oh, come on. So this is gonna be one of those. I mentioned that it doesn't have great coverage, which means it's not very opaque, but it spreads very nicely. You're gonna see what I'm talking about in this section, kind of right here, because you're gonna see a lot of the white is still gonna shine through. Let me just get this thing in. I'm not worrying about getting paint all over these other metal pieces, because I'm going to be doing those afterwards. Does not bother me at all. See what I mean? On the sword? I'm painting over it, but you're still seeing the parts that are dark. And it is just the way this paint is. At first I thought I was like, oh no, this is not good. I don't like this. But as I've gotten more familiar with how it behaves, I love it. It makes my life really, really easy. Because I can get all these beautiful little gradients. You know, with relative ease. And there's rough. Great. Alright, we got our base colors down on the middle. We're going to come back in with a lighter color to bring it up even higher. I already have some necrotic flesh out, so I'm just going to use that. And we're going to make some sections pop. For non-metallic metal, which if you didn't know, how much practice do you reckon you need? Oh, hold on a second. Evil, I'm responding to your thing. How much practice do you reckon it needed to get used to what? Do you mean the... This is another brain fart. I've forgotten again what I was talking about. Do you mean the paint? The scale 75 paint? That took me, yeah, the paint. 5 models, probably. 4 or 5 models. Yeah, I would say about 4 or 5 models before I really got the hang of it. It didn't help that I was also trying to learn non-metallic metals. But, you know, sometimes you make your life more difficult than it needs to be. And that's just how it is. I was going to talk about non-metallic metals. So, non-metallic metaling is when you paint in such a way that it looks like it's painted in with a metallic, but it's actually not. And it's a style of painting that's very old if you look at like classical art, but difficult to execute, or not even that difficult. Just like it takes a lot of practice, and you can keep on getting better at it, kind of for the rest of your life. Like there is no, I've done it, I'm done. I can do non-metallic metals now. You are always getting better. Okay. Yeah. Feel bad. A bunch of people joined this stream specifically to watch me do the free-handed like uh, flags and stuff on the guy's shoulder pads. But I've been spending this whole time doing the rest of the guy. You've been tricked. Fooled you. I'm a dumbass. I didn't use Buckman's Glow. I used Agrex Earthshade. Yeah, I was confused when you said that. Earthshade would make more sense because you kind of like it's a wash. You put it over stuff, whereas like Bugman's Glow that's a solid paint. That's why I thought you dry brushed it. Water. Okay. It's starting to look like metal. But once I bring in the real highlights, the super brights, as I call them, which is the blue and the white, then it will really look like metal. For that, I need a little brush. Time to bust out the tiny one. Not that one. The other tiny one. The itty bitty one. The one that you have, Evil. I seem to have missed something. What's this about Bugman's glow for bronze? Oh, yes. Hold on. Baby's off to bed. I can finally watch the big TV. Nice. Am I actually on the TV? Oh my god. No. Evil was just saying he accidentally said the wrong paint name for how he got the bronze effect on his Doom Scythe. That it was actually Earthshade, not Bugman's Glow. Yeah, exactly. Ugh, again, all the yapping. The paint dried. I mean, I could see Buckman's Glow being part of it, but then then I was like, hold on a second. You mentioned that you had just started painting Warhammer. The chances that you were doing like multicolor palette, like super technical metals, was like very unlikely. All right, got some nice metal effects going on in here. Let's see if I can get it. I still need to do the dark side, but that'll be easy enough. Oh, I also got to put some whites in the legs. I promise one day I will get a camera that does 4K so that it actually looks good on a big screen. I think right now it's probably I think I max out at 1080p because of hardware limitations. Okay, I can see some spots where I've missed some steps. I'm going to go back and do those now while I have the opportunity. Alrighty. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Okay. Oh, man. Guys, I think I have to call it for tonight anyways. I'll be able to pick those up again tomorrow. Because we're really quite close. I still have to do the non-metallic metal on the dark section. But the light section I'm quite happy with. It's looking expressive. Oh, hold on. Let me get the thing off. It's looking expressive. It's got like lots of shiny points, which is important for the non-metallic metal. Yeah, I'm actually very happy about how the arm came out. It's definitely giving me the kind of vibe I wanted of like corrupted human flesh. I do have a couple sections where the armor and the flesh kind of mix. I haven't figured those out yet. And I totally forgot about this leg down here that is actually mostly fleshy leg. So I'll have to come back in and fix that. But from my perspective, what's left to do is the rest of the non-metallic metal on this guy's base armor, first of all. The custom heraldry on these plates that he's stolen from, I guess, previous people he fought. There's a whole bunch of them, and if you're on the Discord, you've probably seen some of the designs that I had prepared. So yeah, 1, finish the non-metallic metals. 2, do the heraldry. 3, go back and fix up the parts where the flesh was that I didn't notice the first time around. 4 is going to be jewelry and hair. And nails, I guess. And then 5 will just be the base, which is going to be a pretty straightforward base because it's flat rock with some tentacles coming out of it. But yeah, I think we're at a pretty good spot considering we've only been at it for about 3 hours and 40 minutes. Plus the Daily Marine. I'll do another Daily Marine tomorrow as well. So I'm not going to have an Instagram posting. I'm just going to like send a message out because that's how I've been getting people to show up of when I go live. But it's going to be at 6. It's going to be tomorrow. And I'm going to be finishing up this model. And then Saturday, I am starting this model that I already know is going to take multiple sessions because it's quite large. But it's the one that most people voted for. A while ago I had a poll to ask people what did they want to see me paint. And this was voted number 1. And it's enormous. Especially by comparison. So this is what we're painting on Saturday. And this is actually a great model to show off some of the dry brush stuff. Dry brush stuff. So I'll walk you guys through some basics if you want. Evil, if you send me a message about like if you've got a list of things you want me to tackle or want me to show off and like spend extra time focusing on, let me know. And I can make sure that I like get really in detail about that. And doing some dry brush on this model, I mean, dry brushing is always, I like to do it a lot of times, not when I'm doing the super high detail stuff, but yeah, I'm more than happy to. For this model. The other one we're already too far in. But yeah, thanks for coming to hang out. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. And we'll pick it up again tomorrow. Hopefully not for 3 hours and 40 minutes. Hopefully it'll be a little bit faster. And yeah. Until then, I'll see you on Discord or I'll see you around. Thanks so much. Bye.